years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes LUBA a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Former USC quarterback Caleb Williams, in his first public comment since declaring for the NFL draft, told ESPN's Pete Thamel he'll be excited if the Bears select him with the first overall pick. Also said if Chicago trades the pick and he's drafted by somebody else, he'll be just as excited. Pushed back on any notion he'd request a trade. Bears GM Ryan Poles has said he wants to make a decision as quickly as possible whether he'll trade Justin Fields or draft a QB. ESPN NFL draft expert Mel Kiper Jr.
To me, it's a tough call for Ryan Poles. If you get blown away by an offer, it's going to be tough not to take it. I get that. Will he be blown away? Will he? And if he's not, then obviously you sit there and say, I'm taking Caleb Williams, because if it's a push, in my mind, guys, if it's a push, you draft Caleb Williams, you reset the clock, and you trade Justin Fields.
Mel on Unsportsmanlike. The Dolphins and Vikings 1 and 2 respectively in the second annual report card by the NFLPA, which ranks teams according to various categories based on results of player surveys. The Chiefs were ranked 31st, ahead of only the Commanders. The Chiefs are releasing receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling, saving $12 million on their salary cap.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Kennedy. Coming up Thursday, in honor of Leap Day, I'll tell you the athlete or the team that will take a huge leap next season. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's up there. Jump the gun, Muse.
It's hump day.
You jumped the gun.
Mike. What day is it,
What do you
Mike?
have to say for yourself?
I'm not used to being on this side after 2 days this week.
You know what, Muse? You've got like 10 years over there, 2 days over here. That's no excuse, isn't it, Paulie? Is that an excuse at all?
No excuse.
No excuse whatsoever.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
By the way, Paulie.
Yeah.
That's already 2 screw-ups from Muse. He scuffed the basketball.
It's hump day.
I did not scuff the basketball.
Paulie, can you get a zoom in on that ball? Would you mind if you get a quick shot? Love it if you could take a quick zoom.
What day is it, Mike?
Right there at that basketball. We got the Get Gordon basketball here on the set.
It's hump day.
Sitting outside before the show.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Look at that. Right across the white leather part with the big block G.
It's hump day.
Big scuff.
I did not do that.
You know who did that?
Not me.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Muse did that.
No.
What do you have to say for yourself?
It's hump day.
It's not my fault.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Paulie, is that Muse's fault?
I don't know what happened. But I do believe it would be his fault.
Of course it's Muse's
It's hump
fault.
day.
You know the answer already. LSU basketball got a win.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Hells crushed the Knickerbockers. Back on the floor tonight in Indiana, second of a back-to-back.
It's hump day.
We got draft stuff.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Brian Kelly talking about Harold Perkins. We got the Saints restructuring Cesar Ruiz.
It's hump day.
We got Bourbon Dictionary.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Plucker's Trivia. We got a lot.
It's hump day.
Let's get going. All right. Let's begin as we do every single day. Why not? More produced.
It's time to pop the top.
Give me more. The whole
on another
show.
edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, this is how it sounded last night at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, Dale Brown Court, when LSU polished off a win against Georgia.
Hannibal going to shadow him into the front court. 11 seconds, 10 seconds, goes all the way to the rim. Shot is up, no good. Rebound fought for, still fighting for it. Georgia comes up with it. Now going into the lane with 3 seconds. Shot going to be blocked by Thomason. LSU with the ball, and the game will end.
Yes.
Tigers win.
Well, it's about time this LSU basketball team caught a break, and I say that with full understanding that they were about as sloppy as you could be in the second half. The game against Georgia was sort of an inverse of what we've seen from this basketball team all year, certainly in the last month, where they dig themselves a deep hole, they get all the way out of the hole, and then it comes down to an endgame scenario. They were down 20 against Florida. Jordan Wright left the little floater in the lane short. They were down 16 against South Carolina, rallied it to win. They were down 15 at home against Kentucky, rallied to win. Well, we saw what happened last night. Tigers were up 15 against Georgia. They were 13 at half, 40-27. LSU, a very good statistical offensive team. Georgia, not a great statistical offensive team. That played itself out with LSU being pretty efficient, shooting nearly 47% from the floor. Georgia about 10 percentage points less. And then in the second half, LSU decided they were going to be careless with the basketball because they didn't know what to do with a lead, almost like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. I have a 15-point lead in a conference game. What do I do? This just feels very awkward. Well, LSU just started turning the basketball over. Georgia pecked away, came all the way back, took a lead, and LSU ended up making the plays late. Will Baker got a ball in the lane, drew a foul, made both of his free throws. This is how it sounded whenever he made the free throws to take the final lead, the 67-66 lead.
1 for 3 from the line tonight. Tigers down a point, 66-65. Free throw good, and we are tied. 1 more to go. Baker's free throw good. LSU on top, 67-66.
Tigers 14 of 18 from the free throw line. Georgia 15 of 19. Georgia very good from the free throw line, and LSU managed to basically draw even with that statistic. So for LSU, and then they got the frenetic finished, as you heard right there. Listen, Georgia's not a great team. They're 5-10 in the league. They're not very good offensively. But I think it's worth noting when you look at this LSU team that everything we have to talk about with them has to come in context of the big picture, which is what does an individual mean for this individual game or win mean for the season, and what does it mean in the grand scheme for the program and where it's headed. Beating a 5-10 Georgia team, 5-10 in conference play, I don't think is anything for which any of us would throw a ticker tape parade. But understanding where this LSU basketball team was, the SEC coaches picked LSU to finish 13th in the conference. South Carolina 14th. Maybe these coaches don't know what they're talking about because South Carolina right now is the 3rd best record in the league behind only Tennessee and Alabama. And LSU smack dab in the middle at 7-8. And considering where they were projected, what they were a year ago, to be sitting at a point right now where you're 15-13 overall, you're 7-8 in the league with 3 games to play, and you're probably going to be favored in all 3 except maybe the game at Arkansas. We'll see. Arkansas had a terrible loss last night against Vanderbilt. I get it. You got to go to Vandy, which Memorial Gym, wacky things happen there, Memorial Magic. You got to go to Arkansas, Bud Walton Arena, one of the best venues in the SEC. Really tough place to play when that's rocking, although Arkansas has really kind of mailed it in. And you've already beaten them once. And then home against Missouri, which is still winless in the conference at 0-14. So you've got a great chance if you win out to finish with 10 league wins. Realistically, my thought is win the home game against Missouri, split the 2 road games against Arkansas and Vanderbilt. You go 9-9 in the conference, and you're an NIT team. And considering what Matt McMahon inherited, where they were a year ago, which was basically just punting on a season, to come into this year where the league coaches picked you second to last, And if you're staring down the possibility of postseason play, that's a monumental leap year to year for Matt McMahon and for this LSU basketball program. So the fact that they were able to finish, listen, you can look back and do the what if thing. You can look back and say, man, what if they hadn't blown the opportunity late on the road against Georgia? What if they had won the home game against Texas A&M, a team they had beaten in College Station a week prior? You could look at that and say, man, there were opportunities out there. What if they hadn't lost a home game to Nichols? What if they had had a better performance in the non-conference against Dayton or Syracuse? Could we be talking about a team that could potentially be an NCAA tournament? Yeah, all those what ifs. But the flip side of that's also true. What if Will Baker misses a free throw last night? What if you don't get the tip in against Kentucky? You see what I mean? Like, the reverse is also true, and you could be a team looking at 4 or 5 league wins right now. So the margin for LSU is very small, but for the most part, what Matt McMahon, his squad have done this year has been nothing short of remarkable, pushing themselves toward the possibility of postseason play. And here was Matt McMahon last night after the win against Georgia.
Obviously, the game wasn't a thing of beauty, but at the end of the day, the goal is to win by any means necessary. First half, I loved our offensive execution, sharing of the basketball, elite shooting, minus the turnovers. And the turnovers really prevented us from building a larger lead there in the first half. Credit to Georgia, really were the aggressor in the second half. But with all that said, we were not very good offensively in the second half. But when they took the lead, they clearly had all the momentum. And I think it says a lot about our players, the toughness, the grit, to find a way to make enough plays there in the last minute to get the win.
3 to go. And LSU remarkably has something to play for with 3 to go. Congrats. LSU men's basketball, they beat Georgia by a point, 68-67 there at the Maravich Center. Okay, it's After Further Review. Monday shows, every day are open, is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with a great taste. Bud Light, the official beer of LSU Athletics, official beer of the LSU basketball program. You're going to be out at the box, of course, all season long. Grab some ice cold Bud Light. If you're going to be at the Maravich Center watching the women, hopefully march toward back-to-back national championships for the men, maybe toward postseason play, whatever it may be, make sure you reach for plenty of ice-cold Bud Light. The official beer of the champs, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana. Okay, it's After Further Review. Ton to do. I know this was something that everybody talked about yesterday, but I missed the whole Harold Perkins moving to inside linebacker convo with Brian Kelly talking to Wilson Alexander. So I got some thoughts on that. Brian Kelly also did an interview on the hard count with J.D. Buckell. He did talk about Harold Perkins, Garrett Nussmeier, some other stuff. We'll let you hear some of the highlights of that when we come back, and I do want to weigh in. So don't you move. Some LSU football talk when we return. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. If you were even thinking about selling your home, why in the world would you call anyone other than the realtor that literally sells more homes than anyone? Darren James, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com, agent225.com. I love sharing all these raving fan shout-outs about Darren James because I lived that as well when Darren sold our home. Here's one from John David and Gonzalez who said, listing my home with Darren James was effortless. My home was listed quickly with interactions of everything from scheduling agents, showing my home via the Homes by Showing Time app, direct communication with Darren, his team whenever we needed, a seamless process. I would highly recommend listing your home with Darren James and Associates. Why would you call anyone else? 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I'm glad you're rolling along with us here, Bourbon Dictionary, in about 30 minutes. Josh Edwards, CBS draft analyst, will be with us next hour. We'll look forward to that. Talk some Pels in hour 3 with Jarrett Reed. I know I was out on the last 2 days. Thanks to Muse for filling in. The Wilson Alexander had a sit down with Brian Kelly that got a lot of people talking because of what they discussed being a position move back inside for Harold Perkins. And I do want to delve into that. Subsequently, and clearly Brian Kelly's on the media circuit here before spring. Tigers open up spring football on Tuesday. Brian Kelly was on the hard count with J.D. Piquel. And here before spring, it's very clear that one side of the ball is going to be the focus for these Tigers.
Clearly, all eyes are going to be on, our defense. We're young in some areas, but I think very talented. I think we've got a great staff that will utilize our players in the manner necessary for us to compete at the highest level. So I think all eyes are going to be on, what are we doing defensively? What's the improvement from the defensive line? We've lost some really good players up front. To what's the maturation level of the back end of the defense, where we played a lot of young players.
And also finding who's going to fit where. So spring football, you're going to hear me say this a lot, veteran players have no need for spring. Spring football is worthless for Will Campbell. Does not mean a thing. He could just go sit on the bleachers and watch. Totally fine. It's meaningful for veteran guys that are moving into a starting role for the first time. Garrett Nussmeier. Very important for Garrett. Every rep he gets as the alpha, the number one in the huddle, leading the huddle, taking the reps, very meaningful for Garrett Nussmeier. And young guys who are going to get their first taste. So when you get to fall camp, it's not brand new. Those are sort of the different layers. So when you look at LSU defensively, yeah, there are guys on the defensive line who, look, Jacoby and Guillory's a fifth-year senior. You don't need spring football. Whit Weeks, he's going to take a lot more reps. I need those reps for that guy. Secondary, a lot of those young players who were rotational pieces last year go win a job. It's important for them. Harold Perkins, though, stands as this giant outlier because when he came on campus as a 5-star, he's been an impact player. He was a freshman All-America. Before the 2023 season, he was the preseason SEC Defensive Player of the Year. And what's so interesting about Perk, and we've talked about it, is statistically, his numbers from year 1 to year 2 were almost identical. He played in 14 games as a freshman, 13 as a sophomore. Obviously, LSU played in the SEC Championship game, so they played one more game. 72 tackles as a freshman, 75 as a sophomore, essentially the same. Identical number of TFLs, 13. Sacks, 7.5 as a freshman, 5.5 as a sophomore. Obviously, the Arkansas game was the big outlier. 4 forced fumbles to 3, 3 passes defense to 6, 1 interception each of the first 2 years. Essentially produced the same amount. We've talked about this, and I know, I get it. He played more snaps as a sophomore, but it's still kind of incredible that you could have a guy with that type of production to where it just didn't feel like you noticed. And people say, well, he played more snaps. I don't care that he played more snaps. 5.5 sacks, 13 TFLs is still 5.5 sacks, 13 TFLs in the same number of games. So whether you did it in fewer snaps or more snaps is irrelevant. It's just, did you do it and make impact plays? The problem is, even if Harold Perkins recorded a sack on second down, it was 3rd and 13, they converted, you forget about the sack. That was the problem. He played on an awful defense. So in many ways, he vanished. But this is striking to a lot of people. Because of what Brian Kelly said to Wilson Alexander in The Advocate. And you may have heard, I'll read these quotes quickly for you about Harold, and essentially they're moving him back inside. Quote, he needs to be in the action. He needs to be the weak side linebacker. He needs to be in the box. He needs to be active in there. That's where he's going to start, and we've got to get him ready at that position. Kelly went on to say, we felt like we could manage it better with him there. We don't want to manage it. We want to get him in the position where he can impact the defense, where he will play at the next level. I think we owe it to him. Whether it was scheme, whether it was our inability to get where we wanted him, he needs to be more involved in the linebacker fits inside. That's going to get him ready for the next level. It's going to make us a better defense, end quote. Okay. So I told you last year on the show the decision to move inside was Harold Perkins' decision. Harold, his family, his advisors, whatever. It was not the LSU coaches. It was Harold Perkins. Harold wants to be Devin White. I told you this. Harold fancies himself as at the next level as a 3-down linebacker. Not a pass rush specialist. He wants to be a 3-down linebacker like Devin White. The problem is Harold Perkins is never going to be like Devin White. That's the problem. So Harold Perkins is getting very bad advice. And the LSU coaches want to keep this very dynamic player in their roster, and so they keep appeasing him. They did it last year. Harold Perkins, after his freshman season, could have left with NIL offers. Yes, teams tampered with Harold Perkins. Everybody tampers, do it through a third party, however you want to do it. Bottom line is, he stayed. He got NIL money and stayed. Great. Part of that was move inside. Spent all spring, all of fall camp training inside. You went out for one game, and he was atrocious against Florida State. Just what it was. Not the kid's fault. He's 6'1", 220. He got caught in the wash. Not instinctive inside. He's an athlete on the outside. Go kill the quarterback. That's Harold Perkins, not an inside linebacker. So they moved him to that nickel Sam role. And you saw more productivity, but you also saw teams continue to scheme with Harold Perkins out of the box. It's what you'd expect. Hey, look, he made some great plays. The interception against Missouri changed the game. He's athletic enough to turn and run and to rush the passer and to help in run defense at times as well. But remember, if you're sitting here saying, like, it's Blake Baker coming in, changing how they're going to use... No, it's not. No, it's not. It's Harold Perkins doing the same thing again this year. He did last year, and the coaches are appeasing him. Matt House didn't forget how to use Harold Perkins. Matt House deserves a ton of criticism. He's gotten it. But when Harold Perkins was sensational his freshman year, who was the defensive coordinator and linebackers coach?
It was Matt House.
Do you think Matt House just year to year got hit with that little flashy light thing from Men in Black and forgot how to coach Harold Perkins and how to use him? Of course not. B.J. Ojolari went to the draft. You needed inside linebackers. Perkins wanted to move inside. Okay. All right, we'll try that, Harold. Sure. You're not going anywhere, right? Okay. Saw what happened week 1. Hey, Harold. Look, bro. Okay, coach, I'll move back outside. And now here you go again. Do you think this is Blake Baker coming in saying, hey, I got an idea. Let's take this super dynamic pass rusher and move him to a position where he's like a fish out of water. That's what I want to do with him. Of course not. It's Harold Perkins doing the same thing again this year he did last year. He wants to be a 3-down linebacker at the next level. It's what you keep hearing Brian Kelly say. The problem is he's never going to be a 3-down linebacker at the next level. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds. I keep hearing comps. I know Blake Baker came here and did great with Damone Clark. Harold Perkins ain't Damone Clark. Damone Clark's 6'3", 245. Harold Perkins is never going to be Damone Clark. He's not an inside backer. Never going to be. I understand what Harold is thinking, but he's not that guy and never will be. So this is a terrible decision on all fronts. You're going to go spend a whole spring and a whole another fall camp working to get Harold Perkins as an inside backer. And it's never going to work. I was reading another thing today where they're talking about how Blake Baker has the star position. And there was a kid who last year, Tyron Hopper, played the star position for Missouri and became a Butkus finalist. That's fantastic. The star position is what Perkins played last year. They called it something different, but it was the Sam. LSU called it a nickel Sam, where you turn and run and you cover. Brian Kelly's telling you he ain't doing that in this defense. They're going to play him as the weak side backer, as the will. So you can make all those comps. They don't hold because that's not what they're telling you. My hope, best case, pie in the sky, dream scenario is Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen, 6 foot, 230 pounds, was a great inside backer, played at Livonia, instinctive player, came to LSU. We all know became the defensive MVP of the national championship game. First-round draft pick, and has had a good career so far in Baltimore and is going to probably get broke off somewhere this year. But Queen's 230. Can Perkins put on 10 or 15 pounds of bulk, maintain his speed and athleticism, and develop an instinctive part of playing inside linebacker? Like, you don't even have to listen to me. You could say, what do you know? Slow, bald, old guy? Fine. Had Derry Beckwith on this show, former all-SEC linebacker who came here and talked about this last year when they were moving Perkins. He's like, bro, that ain't a good idea. Before Perkins took snap 1 in a football game at inside backer. And then when we saw it happen, we asked him, hey, can he learn? Not in a year. That's a long process to let the game slow down and become instinctive. Instead of waiting for the play to unfold and react. You can do that in high school. You can't do it in the SEC. Because if you wait, you've got a 300-pound lineman in your pads and a 4'3" running back sprinting past you. You can't wait and react. You got to be instinctive. And a lot of that is innate. And when you're undersized and not used to playing that position, that ain't a good recipe at this level. Sure as hell ain't a good recipe at the NFL level. So I get it. I understand. Brian Kelly's in a pickle. He's got this elite level player that everybody knows has this dynamic skill set. And you want him on your team. And he could leave. The transfer portal would allow him to leave. And people would break him off. And they let him go. He would go. He could. So you got to appease him. But in this instance, Harold Perkins is his own worst enemy. And my hope is Blake Baker can find a way to let the game slow down for Harold Perkins and maximize him as the will linebacker. Now, I'm going to tell you the other thing you ain't going to like. Here's the other thing that you, LSU fan, are not going to like. If you got Harold Perkins playing will, and you got Greg Penn playing inside as well, guess who's not on the field? Whit Weeks, everybody's favorite. That's fewer reps inside for Whit Weeks. How you feel about that? I'm guessing not great, because all I heard last year is, why isn't Whit Weeks playing more? And I don't disagree with you. Look, that's why you got spring football. Go out there and try it, see how it works. But every rep Harold Perkins takes at the will backer spot is a wasted rep, because that ain't what he is. It's what he's never going to be that at an elite level, like he can be as an edge rusher. So, look, I hope it goes great. I hope he surprises me and everybody else. But the reason we're all reacting to this the way we are, like literally everybody is going, why? Didn't you do this last year? Yeah, you did. Why are you doing it again? So again, it ain't Matt House. Matt House was the DC when he was an awesome freshman. It's Harold Perkins. He's the one that wants to do this. And it's a dumb thing to do because it's just not suiting his skill set. Maybe Blake Baker can maximize it. We'll see. All right. It's after further review. Brought to you by Pure Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor. Pure Restoration can help. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. They're the best. You want to kill mold? You want to remove odor, other harmful pathogens? You want to sanitize? Pure Restoration can help. Look, other fogging processes are a wet fog. I mean, it's going to bring moisture into your walls and your carpet and all that. With Pure Restoration, none of that. You're not cutting sheetrock or pulling up carpet or removing furniture or any of that stuff. It's a dry fog. So they'll come in. Don't take anything out of your house. Let them spray. Let the fog dwell. Kill everything. As soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're back in, free and clear. It's Pure Restoration. Or just message me. Scone, what's the mold thing? Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. All right, y'all. It's after further review. You can always email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400. 396-4400. 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show. 45 minutes from right now, we'll talk some draft with Josh Edwards of draft analyst for CBS Sports. We'll get to that. We'll come back, go around the SEC, and Pete Maravich's son is talking about Caitlin Clark, who has the pistol scoring record in her crosshairs. We'll talk about it next. Stay far.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area: Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Y'all, it is time to just plant something. 81 degrees yesterday, 75 degrees today. Spring has sprung. They have rose bushes, timeless favorites, and exciting new releases with more than 80 varieties of rose bushes. They've got tricolor hibiscus. They're back. It's unique. It's intriguing. It's beautiful. It's a great way to add a pop of color to your lawn or your garden here. And remember, I noticed today, I looked out of my front window, the lawn is starting to green up. We're getting hotter. We're getting warmer temperatures. We're getting rain. You're starting to notice some green in the lawn. If you have weeds in your lawn, spray now. Spray now to kill the weeds before they become a problem during the spring. Clegg's has the products. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's Nursery.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Midweek. Yahoo did a sit-down. This was Jeff Eisenberg. Did a sit-down with Jason Maravich, son of the late Pistol Pete. Caitlin Clark is 50 points away from the NCAA scoring record, Pete Maravich's record of 3,667 points. And Jason said Caitlin Clark is a, quote, phenomenal talent, says she'll be rooting for her, happy when she does it, but, quote, sees the two as two totally separate records. Quote, the circumstances are so different that it's hard to say it's really the same record. I don't want to make it seem like I'm bashing her because I'm not. I just find it to be an apples to oranges comparison. He also went on to say, quote, I think my dad would have been a big fan of her. She's just so much fun to watch. He's right. And I know that there is the argument, well, Pete didn't have the three-point line and averaged 44 a game and played in just 83 collegiate games, didn't get the opportunity to play as a freshman, obviously. Caitlin Clark will have played in 128 games to surpass this record. So, 45 more games. It's more than another full season, obviously, that Caitlin Clark will have had. The flip side of it is Pete Maravich averaged 38 shot attempts per game. Caitlin Clark has never attempted 38 shots in a game. So, yes, Clark has had more games than the three-point line, but Maravich had more three-pointers. So I understand Jason Maravich's point to the fact that it's apples and oranges. It's also, by the way, well, one's a dude and one's a chick. It ain't the same. I don't know why we do this. Last year, I understood the conversation with Antoine Davis, the young man from Detroit Mercy, who finished his career 3 points shy of breaking Pistol Pete's record. And I would have honored that because he's a men's collegiate basketball player. And yes, times change, but in the same way that back in the 1970s, O.J. Simpson, the football player, not the murderer, O.J. Simpson ran for 2,000 yards in 14 NFL games. That record has since been broken by players that have had 3 additional games. So yes, Dan Marino was the first to throw for 5,000 yards back in 1984. That record has been passed now 11 times since 2011. We're just in a fundamentally different time. Things change. And so, yes, records are going to be broken with context, but you can remember things how they are in their greatness. But this is a men's record and a women's record. They're just fundamentally different. They're different games at different levels and different sports. Like, I don't know why we have to do this contentious thing either. Like, they're not mutually exclusive. Pete Maravich was amazing. It's marvelous to think back at 44 points per game and to go, oh my God, can you imagine? Like, no one has sniffed 44 points a game or will ever sniff 44 points a game. It's a one of one. Similarly, Caitlin Clark is transcendent and amazing, like in all the ways that she is. Why can't they both just be awesome in their own right? Why do we have to like comparing apples and oranges? Yes, they're both fruits, but they're not the same. Yes, Maravich and Caitlin Clark are both basketball players, but they didn't play the same game at the same time, the same era. So I'll celebrate Caitlin Clark because I think she's awesome. But similarly, like, Pete Maravich is still the NCAA men's scoring leader, and that's not going to change unless and until someone breaks his record, and that's going to be hard to imagine any day that ever comes. So Maravich family will be watching. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Hudco Roofing. Hey, give us a shout, 364-1007. That's the number here in the Baton Rouge area, 364-1007, 364-1007, or HudcoRoofing.com. Our crews are out and about. Hail on Super Bowl Sunday all around Prairieville, Denham, the whole area. If that was you, let us know. Also, I love this. A listener shot me a text on the text line. They have metal roof at their home. They needed it coated. We did our coating product that I've told you about. His wife is thrilled. We were able to save him a bunch of money. So if you have a metal roof on your home or a commercial building, we have a silicone coating product that's about roughly half the cost of a roof replacement and comes with a 20-year warranty. Learn more from us here at Hudco Roofing. 364-1007, 364-1007 for Hudco Roofing. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference.
Texas A&M!
Sam McCall, a Texas A&M reserve, is leaving College Station. Forgive me. Reserve cornerback, former Florida State player. He's entering the transfer portal. Said he'll enter in the spring window. Played in 11 games this past year with one start, 6'1", 185. A&M has added 4 scholarship cornerbacks to that unit here in this offseason. Aggies have lost 21 scholarship players since Jimbo Fisher was fired.
The Florida Gators.
Florida's director of scouting and recruiting, Joe Hamilton, is leaving Florida. He's headed to Texas A&M. Arrived in Gainesville prior to the 2022 season. He had previously been with Napier with the Raging Cajuns. Now, Craig Fitzgerald, Darnell Stapleton, and add Joe Hamilton to the list of Gators assistants who have left. Scoot around the conference with some basketball and baseball scores and tidbits. Of course, LSU beat Georgia 67-66. Also in the league, Kentucky rallied past Mississippi State 91-89 at the hump. Vandy handing Arkansas maybe its worst loss of the Eric Musselman era, 85-82. That was in Fayetteville. Tonight, Missouri is at Florida. Ranked-on-ranked matchup with 11th-ranked Auburn at 4th-ranked Tennessee. Texas A&M hosts 18th-ranked South Carolina and 14th-ranked Alabama on the road at Ole Miss. Meanwhile, on the Diamond, Tuesday night around the conference, Georgia eked past Presbyterian 4-3. Kentucky beat Western Kentucky 5-0. South Carolina beat Gardner-Webb 7-1. Mississippi State, no issues with Jackson State, 19-6. Arkansas blows out Grambling 21-7. Tennessee at home beats High Point 7-4. Ole Miss handles Little Rock 12-6. That was in Oxford. Vanderbilt blasts Indiana State 20-4. Missouri loses on its home field to Southeast Missouri 8-3. Condolences to the Gators, the 4th-ranked Florida Gators. Their season has come to an end before the calendar even hits March. They lose a midweek game in DeLand, Florida to Stetson 7-4. So we know how it goes. You lose a midweek game, your season is over. So the Gators, no shot of getting that elusive second national championship for Kevin O'Sullivan. Texas A&M beats Lamar 13-2. Alabama on the road beats UAB 9-7. And Auburn at home blasts Samford 12-3. There you have it. That is around the SEC. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll wrap up hour number 1. Our buddy Taylor Calandro will be here for a little Bourbon Dictionary. So let's talk some booze. We'll do it with Taylor Calandro next on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Excited we'll have Aaliyah Armstrong in studio, I believe next week, maybe the week after. LSU track and field athlete, member of the G team. You continue to see the G team growing. Last week they announced Alex Milazzo as part of the G team as well, Tiger baseball player, national champion. And you just continue to see Gordon extend those NIL opportunities to more and more student athletes across all different sports and different universities as well, both men and women, male and female. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, if you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault, do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Trust Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. So you can call or go to the website, whichever's easier for you, call or website. Remember, no matter where you are in Louisiana, 888-8888. That's 888-8888. Offices all over the state, 888-8888. Or online at getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. More than $2.6 billion recovered for their clients. Get Gordon and get it done.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Glad you're here. Get your booze questions in. You can email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. How are you, dude?
Good. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing really well. Are we fully moved out of bourbon season now?
Man, it's about to get cool the next couple days.
Good.
But I don't know if we're ever fully moved out, but it's definitely slowed down. Tons of Catholics in Baton Rouge, man.
Fridays,
Catholics
yeah.
and Lent really puts a damper on the whole alcohol situation.
You hate to see that. You really hate to see that.
I'm one of them, so but I haven't quit drinking.
Yeah, look, I'm a Catholic and a practicing Catholic, but I don't give up booze. I mean,
A lot of people do.
Yeah. Can you not drink booze on Friday and Lent, or is it just meat? You just give up meat, right?
No, I mean people like to give stuff up.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that.
You're supposed to, as a good practicing Catholic, you're supposed to give something up.
No, I don't. Or what's a Lenten sacrifice? You don't have to necessarily give something up. It's a Lenten promise. You could do something. You could pray more, whatever the case may be. So, yes.
The sacrifice to eat seafood on Friday it's one of the most hilarious things on earth. I love seafood, so I had a fried shrimp po' boy and French fries this past Friday. It was the biggest sacrifice I had to make.
Well, yes, it's not other parts of the world. Maybe it's a greater sacrifice per se, but it's it's more reminding yourself of the sacrifice that Jesus made for us in sacrificing His flesh. Therefore, we do not eat flesh. I don't know that anybody wants a theology lesson here today. I mean, this isn't like this isn't dogma radio. But let's move on if we could. What's new?
Actually, from your friends at Mockler, we got Cutwater, which is a ready-to-drink brand. Lemon drop martini, which is just ready-to-drink lemon drop martini in a can. I think they're like $11 for a 4-pack. I tried one the other day. It's really, really good if you're into lemon drop martinis. I don't know.
Okay.
Probably more for the females. And I tried a couple things over the past week. I tried a couple Japanese-only exports. So Wild Turkey 12-year 101 and Evan Williams 12-year 101. Man, they were unbelievable. I had a customer bring me samples of both of them. They're just Japanese, sitting on Japanese shelfies. You can actually get Evan Williams 12-year 101 at the distillery only in the United States. It was awesome.
Okay.
If you ever go to, I think they might sell it at the Evan Williams Experience in downtown Louisville. If you're ever in Louisville and you want to try to find a bottle, Evan Williams 12.
Okay. Hey, I'm not sure if you saw this, but there was the world's best whiskey, the World Whiskey Awards that just happened. And the world's best small batch bourbon is Law's 4-grain, which is apparently out of Denver. I didn't know, or out of Colorado, somewhere in Colorado. Have you heard of Law's, LAWS, or tried it?
No. What awards was this?
I'm reading it from Forbes, which was
Forbes.
The world's best whiskeys for 2024.
I have not heard of them. So
World Whiskey Awards.
Not familiar with it.
Well, maybe
Laws,
you should.
I'm going to look.
LAWS.
Yeah.
There's
I ain't familiar with other
blended
Colorado
American
distilleries.
whiskeys, bourbons. Let's find the world's best bourbon. The taste winner was the best non-Kentucky was the Representative.
Oh yeah.
The best Kentucky bourbon was Weller CYPB. How about that?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. All of you will never get a chance to try it, but it's a good one.
Yeah, the Representative is part. I think it's Proof and Wood is the name of that place. They have like the Representative. There's a few different ones. The Presidential or something. They're all named the Congressman or I don't know. Anyway, they're all named after like law type things.
All right. Let's get to your questions. Email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Sean says, ask Taylor, strawberry cane break. Is it good? Only comes in cans and I prefer bottles, he says.
It's a good question. I'm sure that he's comparing it to a Abita strawberry. I prefer strawberry cane break over Abita strawberry, even though I still do like Abita strawberry. Strawberry cane break is not as sweet to me as Abita strawberry. So I prefer strawberry cane break.
Okay. Joshua Abshire said, I asked Taylor, summer drink, Zima with a delicious Jolly Rancher or White Claw? What's the funny part about that?
Zima. Actually, Zima made a comeback a few summers ago, and I cross-merchandised Zima with Jolly Ranchers. I'm sure you're familiar with Zima with Jolly Ranchers.
No, I'm not at all, actually.
That was a thing. I didn't know, but in the I guess early '90s, that's what people drank. I don't know because it's before my time, and I guess it's before your time too. But yeah, so Zima, I would much rather drink a White Claw over Zima and Jolly Ranchers.
Why?
I mean, they're both equally not great. It sounds like less trouble to just pop a White Claw and drink it.
Okay.
And more accessible.
One more. Chris Mitchell, I recently learned about Redwood Empire, Lost Monarch. Are the rest of their bourbons good?
Redwood Empire they make some really, really good stuff. And I cannot remember the one that I've had that I was just blown away. But I've tried a few different ones that they've had. They're all really good. And I think they're all a little bit of the pricier end of the spectrum as far as pricing goes, but they're good.
Taylor Calandro, Wine and Spirits Director over at Calandro's. Thanks as always, dude.
All right, Matt. See you.
All right, man. Be well. It's after further review. Putting a button here on our first hour. We'll knock out a break. When we come back after Sports Center, the Saints have continued their whole restructure path. Cesar Ruiz was the latest. I want to talk about him and his future in New Orleans, and I actually think this is an awesome idea. We'll talk about it next. Stay far.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has new 23 Ford F-150 STX trucks for only $39,995. $39,995 plus 1.9% financing for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Caleb Williams shut down rumors that he doesn't want to play for the Bears, commenting publicly for the first time since declaring for the NFL draft in January. The projected top overall pick told ESPN's Pete Thamel he'll be excited if Chicago takes him at number 1 in April. Will be just as excited if the Bears trade that pick and he's drafted by somebody else. That second option, though, won't happen. Chicago will trade Justin Fields and take the former USC QB, believes ESPN's Dominique Foxworth.
They're not going to pass up on Caleb. Like, it's going to require an absurd deal to pass up on a quarterback that people are comping to Patrick Mahomes, which obviously is a bit hyperbolic. But they're not going to pass up on Patrick Mahomes again when they did it once in the past.
Dominique was referring to 2017 when Chicago drafted Mitch Trubisky 2nd overall and Kansas City took Mahomes at 10. The Jets gave the okay to quarterback Zach Wilson to seek a trade. A couple of months after signing a 12-year, $325 million deal with the Dodgers, righty Yoshi Yamamoto struck out 3 in 2 scoreless innings in his spring training debut today against the Rangers.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Kennedy, coming up Thursday. In honor of Leap Day, I'll tell you the athlete or the team that will take a huge leap next season. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. We'll talk some NFL draft here in about 15 minutes from right now. Josh Edwards, CBS Sports, is going to be with us. Dennis Allen was met with reporters today at the Combine in Indy. Everything kind of gets underway tomorrow with Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the position groups all work out. So we'll be able to tell you much more Wednesday about how everything goes through. But I am interested to talk to Josh about who has the most to gain, lose, all that stuff with the Combine this weekend. The Saints are continuing their work to get within cap compliance right now, and Lord knows they had a lot of work to do. There were some $80 million over the cap as this season was before this season started, as they were going into this offseason. So a lot of work for the Saints to do as they were going into their whole restructuring contract protocols that they do every year. There was some $80 million over the cap. We know that the cap went up this year, which gave them a little bit of a respite, having already restructured Derek Carr, Carl Granderson, Eric McCoy, Nathan Shepard. The Saints presently, after restructuring Cesar Ruiz, are now at about $24.8 million over the cap. So still a good ways to go before getting within cap compliance. But the Cesar Ruiz decision was actually a pretty easy one. And I know, as we've looked at Cesar Ruiz during his time in New Orleans, he's generally considered, I don't want to say bust, but I'll say disappointment, because he was a first-round draft pick, and I think the expectation is that he would come in and be a dominant player. And that hasn't happened. Among starting interior offensive linemen, he's routinely graded as one of the, or I shouldn't say the worst, I should say one of the lowest graded starting interior offensive linemen. However, when you talk about Cesar Ruiz, like we talk about any NFL player, any player in any sport, what's the old adage? The best ability is availability. And Cesar Ruiz, if nothing else, has certainly been available in his NFL career. He started all 16 games that he played this past season for the New Orleans Saints. And when you look during his time in New Orleans, he's played in 62 games in 4 seasons, 15 as a rookie in the COVID year in 2020, all 17 games in 2021. He missed 3 games a year ago in 2022 and then just missed 1 game last year. He has started 56 of the 62 games in which he has played. So if nothing else, he has been available, which is more you can say about a guy like Trevor Penning, who missed his entire rookie season due to injury. Or you think about Peyton Turner or Marcus Davenport, whose time in New Orleans was marred by injury. At least Ruiz has been on the field, so you can certainly give him that much. But what I like the most about the Ruiz contract is the Saints aren't married really to Cesar Ruiz at all. He signed last offseason a 4-year, $44 million contract. Remember, the Saints could have used this would have been a 5th year. They could have used his 5th-year option. But last year, going into last year, they decided to extend him. And they did, 4 years, $44 million. He got $7.5 million at signing. And in this restructure, it cleared a little more than $6 million of cap space. So I don't want to bore you with the numbers of it. But in essence, this year, Ruiz's cap hit is about $4 million. 4.45 is the actual number. And then you look to next year, the number goes up to 12.2 with a dead number of 10.9, meaning if he wasn't on the team next year, you'd save, a couple $1 million. And you'd have a potential out of this deal after next year. But while the restructure adds money onto the contract all the way through 2028, the crazy thing about it is starting next year, and you have an out, the dead cap number for Cesar Ruiz goes to 0. So the only way after this season that you theoretically would owe Cesar Ruiz money against the cap, you would owe him the guaranteed money you paid him. But the only way it would count against the cap is if it was a pre-June 1st release next year. Like after this coming season, so he plays this season. If they release him before June 1st, then he would count. Actually, it would be after the day 1 of the league year. He would count $9.1 million against the cap. But anything after that, it would be 0. So, it would literally go to 0. And so even if he played in 2025 with New Orleans, the same thing is true in 2026, but it's a pre-June 1. So my point is, let's say Cesar Ruiz goes out this year and stinks. The way they've structured this deal with him is such that, you pay him his guarantees, but his guarantees were so low on this deal. Again, it was $7.5 million were his guarantees. So you could wipe him off the books after this season and owe him nothing. So I'm good. This is one of the rare occurrences where I'm like, great, because you're not really kicking money into future years because you only guaranteed him $7.5 million. I'm sorry, that was his bonus. Forgive me. It was $27.3 was the guaranteed on the 4 years, $44 million. But the point is, after the 2024 season, you have outs in this contract where the dead cap numbers go to 0. So while it's fair to say that Ruiz's time in New Orleans has been disappointing because he hasn't emerged into a dominant starting player, this was a team-friendly deal that he signed last offseason. And even in the restructure now, it doesn't hurt you tremendously. The phantom years, the voidable years it added on was only $1.6 million in 2028. So this is one that isn't really going to be in that pile of contracts that hurts you for years to come. And it gives you time to hopefully continue to develop Cesar Ruiz as a really good player. So hopeful. I don't know that I believe that'll happen. I think he'll just be a starting caliber player in the NFL. I mean, if you line up every starting offensive guard in the NFL, take every single one of them, someone's going to be the best starting guard in the NFL and someone's going to be the worst starting guard in the NFL. And unfortunately, Cesar Ruiz looks like he's going to be on the leaner side of that list, but at least he's available for you on that right side of your line, and that's something you at least have settled going into the season. And it's not gonna crush you financially. All right. We'll keep you posted. The Saints still have more than $20 million they need to clear against the cap. So we'll keep you posted as that moves along, and we move closer to March 13th, which will be the beginning of the league year, and we'll see how the Saints do, because as we know historically, they're usually very active at the onset, like that first round of free agency. Like when the tampering period is open, the Saints usually have one big ticket item, and then they allow the market to settle, and the second wave of free agency is when they start to go bargain shopping. So that's historically been what they've done. We'll see if they continue that this year. Okay. Speaking of shopping for gems, how about you go to Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry? How about that? How about that transition right there? LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Erica sent me is this romantic? Erica sent me a video today of a guy who proposed at a Taylor Swift concert. But it's not just that. It was the song Love Story, the Romeo and Juliet song. And right at the point where she says, "Marry me, Juliet," blah, blah, blah. That's when he gets on a knee and shows her the ring. Is that romantic or not? Let's go around the room. Paul, you've proposed. Romantic or not?
If her name is actually Juliet,
no, we're going to say it's not.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, not romantic. Muse.
I'll also actually, you know what? I'll say yeah. I'll give that a good one. Yeah.
So the only guy in this room that's not married thinks that is romantic. The two guys in the room that are married think not romantic. I wonder if there's any correlation there. I don't know. Maybe, or maybe just a generational thing. I don't know. But I did not propose to Eric at a proposing at a concert feels very
like proposing at a sporting event.
I guess it's maybe, look, who am I to judge, right? To each their own sort of thing, but that feels like something that would be an intimate thing that you would want for you and your future spouse, or maybe like if family is nearby filming, you see that sometimes. Like in the middle of a concert feels a bit, whatever. Two kids are in love, they're getting married. Maybe the guy went to Lee Michaels. Probably not, because I think that was in a concert in Australia or something like that. But he'd have been right to do it. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay. It's after further review. Oh, man. Richard Lewis died. The comedian Richard Lewis died. I just saw that. It's so weird, too, because I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm last week. Did you watch it? Do you watch Curb, either of you?
I've seen it, yeah.
So are you watching this most recent season?
No, but I've seen the show.
So it's the final season that they're doing right now. By the way, they're setting it up for a Seinfeldian end, which is equal parts perplexing and hilarious. But anyway, in the last episode, Richard Lewis and Larry David were talking about their deaths. And Richard Lewis was like, told Larry, I wrote you into my will. And then Larry figured out he wrote him into the will because Richard wanted Larry to write him into his will so he'd get money if he died. And so they're basically arguing about who's going to outlive who. It's kind of crazy. And now Richard Lewis died. So I guess score one for Larry David. Give Larry David a ding. There you go. Yes, that's inappropriate, but in the sense of Larry David and Richard Lewis and their senses of humor in that show, that it's absolutely appropriate. May he rest in peace. Okay, we got to go. Josh Edwards, CBS NFL draft analyst, joins us next. AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, where you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. I want to share a story with you. Honest to goodness, true story that happened yesterday. Had someone who's a listener message me and said, hey, I had River City's 1 Hour Air come out, and I'm really not pleased with a certain thing that happened. So I was a little perplexed because over the entire decade that I've endorsed River City's 1 Hour Air, that's happened with them maybe a handful of times. They pride themselves on exceptional customer service. But what it reminded me is that no matter what, no matter how good you are at what you do, inevitably, at some point, you're human and you might err and make a mistake. Well, what was incredible is so often businesses will show you who they really are when things go badly and how they work to fix it. Long story short, put this listener in touch with Matt Rick, the GM. Everything afterwards was they did right by the customer. And it's just another way. Like, even if things don't go exactly how they should the first time, they're going to get it right. It's River City's 1 Hour Air.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Combine getting underway in Indianapolis. Josh Edwards, draft analyst for CBS Sports, going to have to join us for a couple of minutes here. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Today was a good day here in Indianapolis. We got the final head coaching and general manager interviews. The prospects started to make their way to the podium, so it's officially the start of draft week as it relates to these prospects.
Any big storylines that are sort of popping there in Indy?
I would say probably the two most noteworthy things to come out so far were related to the quarterback position yesterday. Sean Payton, of course, who you're familiar with, essentially said that a decision is coming on Russell Wilson in the next few weeks. It feels like that decision has already been made for him, but nothing has been done officially to this point. And then Chicago with Justin Fields. There was an Instagram post, I believe, maybe TikTok, that suggested he got some news, good news, based on the way he reacted. And many are drawing conclusions that it was related to his future either with Chicago or a potential trade. I happen to think that they are probably going to move on from him, so it's definitely going to be an interesting next couple of weeks.
Is your feeling that the Bears trade Justin Fields and draft Caleb Williams first?
It is. I think they have been moving in this direction for a little while now. Moving on from their offensive coordinator, I don't think you would want to bring in a new offensive coordinator with a quarterback that you're still not totally sold on, waiting to learn if you're actually going to give him a long-term contract. I think it is in their best interest to move on at this point, and I think that they believe that as well. So I expect them to consider trade options number 1 overall, but ultimately make that pick and take Caleb Williams and then move Justin Fields to different pastures.
What does that mean for Jaden Daniels and Drake May?
The market is still going to be very hot for those two players. I think when you look at the teams right after Chicago, you've got Washington, you've got New England. There's going to be some teams possibly motivated to move up, whether that's Denver, Minnesota. I don't think Atlanta is going to take a quarterback. I think they're more inclined to look at the veteran market after giving Desmond Ridder a shot at the starting job this past season. So I would say there are a handful of teams that if Daniels and May do not go number 2 or number 3 overall, there's going to be a very interested market looking to move up into the top 10 of this draft.
Who do you think are the teams most likely to move up if a quarterback does fall past number 3?
Yeah, I think you have to start with Denver. I think you have to look at Las Vegas with Aiden O'Connell coming back at the position. Jimmy Garoppolo did not work out this past year. Minnesota, I think, is a team that's going to be very interested. They've kind of researched and, considered moving up in the last couple of drafts. So those are a couple teams I'm looking at. Maybe Seattle. You've got a first-year head coach there. Geno Smith, he got a little bit of assurance from the organization recently, but I don't think his long-term future is stable there in Seattle. So those are a couple teams I would personally mention. Everybody will probably try to throw Pittsburgh into the mix. Again, I think they are more interested in a veteran if they do decide to go outside of that building.
Talked so much about Jaden Daniels. By the way, Josh Edwards is our guest NFL draft writer there at CBSSports.com. We've talked so much about Jaden. I'm curious your thoughts of the LSU guys there in Indianapolis. Who do you think has the most to gain and the most to lose potentially?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. I think Brian Thomas has the most to gain just because of his athletic profile. Somebody that has the size. There's a lot of buzz that the athletic testing is going to support what many of us believe is going to be a very positive outing for him here at the NFL Combine. So what does that mean in regards to his placement in this draft? Is he able to leap over a Rome Odunze from Washington? That's possible. I don't think you're going to top Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison. I think those are probably your top 2 wide receivers, as much as Odunze does have love around the league. But Thomas could still get into the top half of the first round, which means millions of dollars in his pocket. I mean, it could set him up financially for years if he is able to solidify himself as that top half of the first round type talent that many people, including myself, believe that he can be.
It was interesting, Josh. I think Brian Thomas potentially has the most to lose. If he doesn't perform well, he could drop out of round 1, right? And I think a guy who maybe has a ton to gain would be a guy you talked about on Twitter, and that's Mason Smith, who I think athletically we all know is going to go to the Combine and test off the charts. But what do teams make of Mason Smith?
He's difficult because he has not been available as much as what teams would typically hope to see. Coming off the torn ACL, his recovery from that. I've always said that it takes about 2 years to fully recover from a torn ACL. So that first year, you want to see some progress, but you don't fully expect them to be at their peak performance. And then going into that second year is really when you expect them to regain their confidence and be the player that they have been thought to be. Mason Smith coming into the year, most people thought he was a top 20 pick. Now, based on the way that he played, it didn't live up to that expectation. And there's opinions on him across the board. I'm still, cautiously optimistic. I've got a few coworkers that are not as high on what he could do at the next level, but we all know that his athletic profile is very high. So if he does come out here and test as well as his capabilities suggest, then he's going to be somebody that people are buzzing about, because not only is he a former 5-star prospect, somebody that is incredibly athletic, talented, but he's at a position of need. He's at a position that a lot of teams struggle to fill. So if he's able to get things moving back in a positive direction, I think he absolutely could be one of the risers in this draft class.
What about a sleeper among the LSU guys? Maybe a Mekhi Wingo or a Jordan Jefferson, guys who, if they go to the combine or throughout this process test, could maybe see their draft stock rise, maybe from a day 3 guy to a day 2 type player. Anybody like that seem to pop?
Well, I think LSU just has a really unique group of prospects in general. Jordan Jefferson is a player that has the length that a lot of teams covet, so he's somebody that could certainly rise up the draft boards. Mekhi Wingo, just an incredibly productive player, obviously has a history with the new coaches now headed to Baton Rouge from Missouri, but just a really talented group out of LSU this year. I do think that Jordan Jefferson is probably one that might be a little bit more intriguing to teams just based on his frame and how that might project to the next level.
A couple more for you. Josh Edwards is with us, CBS Sports Draft Analyst, on Twitter at EdwardsCBS. Y'all give him a follow. Let me just ask specifically about the Saints. When you evaluate them and when you look at draft needs, it's weird. They were a 9-8 team. They had a winning record, but I think there's a consensus. You look at the Saints and go, man, they got so many needs. They were just a team that went 9-8 in an awful division. Still missed the playoffs. Where do you sort of categorize the Saints' needs from most glaring to start with?
Yeah, it's very interesting. They're one of the teams that I struggle with on a weekly basis because there's not a whole lot that is like incredibly pressing, nothing that jumps out the way that offensive tackle may for the Jets or the Patriots, the way that quarterback jumps out for a team like Washington. So I try to look at their free agents to try to gain some insight as to what they may be looking to do. Andrews Pete is expected to be a free agent. You've got Zach Bond, Cam Irving. So with the way that offensive line performed this past year, as well as a couple of guys potentially hitting free agency, that's a position that I think they could look to address. This is a team that has always valued depth at the edge rusher position. With Marcus Davenport moving on last year, Carl Granderson, had a good year when he was available. And then you've got, obviously, Peyton Turner, you've got Cam Jordan there. But I do think that that's a spot they could look to bring in some depth or a guy that can take on a starting role in the inevitability that Cam Jordan does move on, in the next however many years, 3 years, let's say. Defensive tackle, possibly. So there are some options that they could possibly address. Wide receiver with Michael Thomas's future. But nothing is like, this is a desperate need for the organization. They truly just need to get more out of the quarterback position.
So with that being said, what do you think the options are, the most realistic options for the Saints at 14? Because you actually tap danced all around everything we talk about here, which is tackle, defensive end, receiver. That seems to be kind of the consensus. What do you think are the options, the best case scenario for the Saints, like best player who you think could be there at 14?
Best player at 14, I'm operating under the assumption that those top 3 wide receivers are off the board because I think they probably would be. So best player available, I would probably say it's not even one of the positions that you just mentioned there, but somebody like a Jarrett Verse, if he were to slip to that point, give them somebody else that you can build around on the defensive side of the ball. As it relates to, the positions that you specifically mentioned, Byron Murphy, the second from Texas, is probably the most well-rounded defensive tackle in this draft class. So there's a couple of options there for them. I wouldn't necessarily look to address the interior offensive line. So if the wide receivers are gone, I tend to think they may be more inclined to take defense.
He is Josh Edwards, CBS Sports. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at EdwardsCBS. He's up there in Indy for the Combine, so get all your info there. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely, anytime.
I'm in. Be well. It is After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020, 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Make sure you're following the Williamson Eye Center on social media as well. All the different social platforms. Just go search Williamson Eye Center on any of the social media platforms. You'll find them there. I tell you every day, it's a great reminder, no matter your age or your refractive issue, if you are thinking about or have ever thought about refractive surgery, if you've ever thought about ditching the contacts and glasses forever, If you thought, I'm too old, I'm not a candidate for LASIK. Well, maybe it's EVO ICL, the implantable contact lens. If you thought, well, I've heard LASIK wears off, or I had LASIK and I haven't, maybe it's PRK. Maybe you're farsighted now and you have to use those readers, to see a menu at a restaurant. You want to ditch those forever? The Williamson Eye Center can help. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. That's Williamson, EYE.com. Okay, y'all, it is after further review, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We got a ton to do here. As we mentioned, Dennis Allen did meet with reporters at the Combine. We'll circle back to that. Pell's got a win last night as well. More from Brian Kelly in his interview with J.D. Piquel. And the Tiger baseball team on the road tonight with a true road game there at Rice. We'll preview that. Ton to do, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, if you are a business owner and you're struggling going through the hiring rigmarole right now, especially since COVID, call our friends over at Glow Resources. GLO. GlowResources.com. Glow Resources, they're not a staffing company. Glow Resources represents you, the client, the business owner. Every order with Glow is specific, and they seek individuals to meet your exact criteria. This isn't casting a wide net. It's more of a very direct target for the exact person that you're looking for. And listen, whether it's skilled blue-collar workers, welders, carpenters, heavy equipment operators, crane operators, or on the admin side, they have a professional white-collar division as well. They, at Glow Resources, can help you find the right employee to make you more efficient, and they handle everything. It's Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
We're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified, and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Bayou Ford has new 23 Ford F-150 STX trucks for only $39,995. $39,995 plus 1.9% financing for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They all tell me they want to play in those stadiums. They all tell me they want to play in front of sold-out crowds, which we're going to have on Friday and Saturday. And we'll see. Like, is it awesome? I mean, or can you control yourself and play to your potential? I don't know that we're there yet, but I think we're going to learn a lot about our team and their mental disposition and their poise. Regardless of how the result goes, that's going to do nothing but help us.
That's Jay Johnson. His team will be in Houston for 4 games. Starts tonight, Wednesday night, at Reckling Park. LSU's taking on Rice. It's a true road game. They're in Houston, and I love this. Next week, by the way, they're going to be in. Next week, they're going to be at Southeastern as well for a midweek road game. And I love going on the road. Now, as an admin told me years ago at LSU when they were building the new box, said that $40 million stadium doesn't pay for itself when the lights are off. And that obviously, look, when you're not playing home games, you're not making money on tickets and concessions and parking and all the sort of stuff. So I get it. From a financial standpoint, you want to have home games. But competitively, I love this. I love packing up and going on the road. I love taking the team to do something unfamiliar. It's so easy to get comfortable at the box where you have this palatial, locker room, practice facility, all that sort of stuff where you have you're sleeping in your own bed, your fans are friendly, you're familiar with the mound and the dugout and the lines and the sight lines and the batter's eye and everything. And you change this up. And I love the idea of going on the road and standing on a different bump, sitting in a different dugout, being at the plate with different sight lines, a different batter's eye, taking a bus to the game, sleeping in a hotel, doing something that's unfamiliar, that's outside of your routine. I think all of that is so beneficial because before you know it, you're going to be you're going to be doing this for real in SEC play. So, I think all of this is it's a great experience and great opportunity for LSU to go on the road here in at this point in the season. I think it's going to be whether they win or lose tonight against Rice, and then obviously to be able to go into Minute Maid on Friday, Saturday, Sunday to play good competition. Of course you want to win. You want to make sure that you play well and all that sort of stuff. But I know we talk about it every year, and we do the stupid midweek game joke and conversation and all. But Florida lost a midweek game yesterday to Stetson. Vanderbilt lost a midweek game last week. Wake Forest is the number 1 team in the country. They lost a midweek game last week. It's just not consequential. When you play in a Power 5 league, you're going to play 30 league games. You got to take care of your business. This is so much about figuring things out. I'm excited tonight, assuming as of right now they haven't posted the starting lineup. I'm sure they'll post that about 30 minutes before first pitch. But I'm excited, most likely, to see Cade Anderson. Right? We heard about it all off season that you were likely going to see him go Hurd, Holman jump with Cade Anderson being the midweek guy, and we got to see Cade Anderson pitch in the opening weekend, and then obviously they held him this week so we could see him in the midweek. And so Cade Anderson, who's a freshman, who's a strike thrower, and really, really impressive stuff, going on the road to Rice, and let's see how he does in this outing. And maybe it's awesome. And I remember when Aaron Nola was a freshman, he had that dominant outing on the road at Tulane. LSU shut out Tulane, and it was a great stepping stone for Aaron Nola as a freshman when he worked his way into the rotation. I don't know if that's going to happen for Cade Anderson tonight, but it's a great let's go find out, isn't it? For freshmen like Jake Brown and Stephen Milam, who've been really good and impactful early in the season for LSU, to go on the road. So, let's see how they look when you go on the road. And I might be wrong about this, but I don't think to this point that LSU has used the same lineup in a game yet. And now they've used the same 8 position players at times, but even when you look at position players and batting order, Like Jay Johnson is changing every game, figuring out what he has. Like, Jarrett Jones is going to play first. Tommy White's going to play third. Paxton Kling's going to be in center. We've even seen Paxton Kling take a day off at center. But everything else feels like it's up for grabs. We're learning, yes, Mac Bingham looks like he's going to be your everyday left fielder. He's had a fantastic start, very veteran player, and we've learned the value of guys like that with guys like Beloso and Gavin Dugas, being around. So you get a guy who's played a ton of baseball, who's a good left fielder, who also can hit anywhere in your lineup, be a productive player. Yes, I'm for that. So we're learning. What do you do in the middle infield and in right field? Is Steven Milam a guy that's going to be in your everyday lineup? Michael Braswell had a heck of a day offensively on Sunday. I mean, the bases clearing triple got you rolling in the first inning. And so while a lot of people have looked at Milam and he's been super impressive, Braswell's fighting him off. So does that mean you're looking at second where Milam Pearson platoon at second and Brown is your everyday right fielder? I mean, I talked to a scout over the weekend and said, look, Jake Brown is the best athlete on the team. He's a guy that you got to find a way to be in the lineup every day. I don't know if that is going to manifest this year, but the point is, all of this right now is just about growing that sample size, growing the sample size for Jay Johnson to learn what he has, who he can count on, in what role, and the more variables you throw, like leaving the box and going on the road and playing someone else in their park, the more you're going to learn about him. So, I don't know. I hope LSU has a 4-0 week. I hope they beat Rice and sweep through the weekend there at Minute Maid. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But for me, it's less consequential about the wins and losses. I know we talk about that every year, and some of you don't agree with me. Yet, even still, when we look back at some of the struggles a year ago and LSU went on to win the national championship, you still look back and try to fight me on the midweek game stuff. But it just doesn't matter. Yeah, you want to win every time you play, but it's just not going to matter in terms of LSU getting to what their ultimate goal is. That opportunity will be there when conference play rolls around, and winning as many league games as you can to build up that RPI and find yourself as a national seed so you have that path to Omaha. And then it's about going and playing really well for 10 days up in Nebraska. But those opportunities will come for LSU. But tonight's a great one. Tonight's a great one against Rice, and then 3 games at Minute Maid. And then next Wednesday, you're on the road at Southeastern, where that's going to be jam-packed and it's going to be a pretty raucous environment you step into. So, Tigers lost a couple of midweek games to in-state schools last year. You lost to ULL. You lost to Nichols last year. So, let's see if you can put it together here in 2024. All right, it's after further review. I'm glad to have you hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, with more than 30 offices across 11 different states. I tell you all the time, if you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, services, and rents the products that you use to weigh and measure. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Of course, they are an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. If you don't know what that is, you don't need it. But if you know what that is, you understand why that's so important. I always encourage you as well to go check out their LinkedIn because, man, at Michelli, they do a great job of posting on LinkedIn. And listen, when you need quality weighing and measurement equipment, calibration services, maintenance or repair, you can choose Michelli. They are the accuracy experts. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. They can come to you if you have equipment that can't leave your facility or you don't want to leave your facility. They do on-site calibrations, mobile calibrations, or you can always ship your equipment to them at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, that's Michelli.com. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll talk some Pels in about 15 minutes. Jarrett Reed will be here. Pels got a really nice win last night after arguably the worst loss of the season at home against the Bulls on Friday, to go on the road and to thoroughly whip the New York Knicks at the Garden was awesome. Trey Murphy had a big night for the Pels, Zion as well, and now they play the second of a back-to-back tonight. They're in Indiana against the Pacers. So we'll get to that here in about 15 minutes. We'll break. We'll do Tigers and the Pros. We got some Pluckers trivia coming up in the next hour as well. More from Brian Kelly. His interview with J.D. Piquel, Dennis Allen met with reporters earlier today as well in Indianapolis. We got a ton to do, and glad you're hanging out with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers.
AFR.
Action Industries, y'all, for 40-plus years, our friends over at Action Industries have provided amazing services to the plants up and down the river. And it is baseball season, which means all season long when you're out at the box or you're listening to an LSU baseball game and you hear a mound visit, those mound visits are always going to be brought to you by Action Industries. I want to remind you, Action Industries is hiring. So they got two offices, right? They got Belrose, and they've also got the Geismar office, Highway 30 in Geismar. If you want to apply, you can apply in person or by calling the office on Highway 30 in Geismar, or you can go to the website. It's actionindinc.com. I know it's confusing, but just think Action Industries Incorporated. actionindinc.com. As you know, you don't even get to work in a plant without an exemplary safety record. And Action Industries, their safety record is above the industry standard. It's Action Industries. Check them out online, Action Industries.
I've been doing business with LUBA for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes LUBA a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
IU Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $17,500 off new 23 1500 Bighorn trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $17,500 off new Ram 1500 trucks. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, Muse will have Tigers in the Pros coming up here in just a quick second. We shared awesome news with you last week from one of our great partners over at Rouse's. And Donny Rouse, the CEO of Rouse, is good enough to jump board with us here for a quick minute, so I can properly congratulate him. Donny, it's a pleasure. How are you, man?
Matt, good. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, we appreciate a couple of minutes, and we, of course, love the partnership. Share with our audience the great news that you all got last week.
Oh, it was exciting for the family and for the team members, but we were named one of the top independent grocers in the country by Progressive Grocer Magazine, which is one of the leading publications in the supermarket industry.
Is that like winning an Oscar for grocers?
I would say just about. Yeah, it's a great honor.
Well, no, that is an awesome honor, man. And, one of the things that stood out, I say this often, whenever we got to go to the Rouse's Media Day last year and go meet all of you and be part of that, how much you all commit to local is amazing to me. And I know that's just been something that you and your family have focused on. Why has that been so important as you've grown to 70 locations now to continue to focus on local?
It's how we started. It's who we are. My great grandfather and my grandfather, they started out in the produce industry, farming and shipping produce, and it's always been a passion for us to, as we grow, to help the farmers and the fishermen and the local suppliers as we grow to continue partnering so they can continue growing and expand their business for their families. Yeah, man.
And I know you all did a partnership with Southern University and a donation here recently as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Sure. This was we partnered. One of our partners, Dairy Max, partners with us at some of the local universities. We did deal with Nichols University here in Thibodaux over the summer, but where we putting these coolers in and providing and filling those coolers with dairy products such as chocolate milk for the athletes, which is something that they all need. They need the calories just because of the amount that they're burning, and it just gives the students an opportunity to come in and grab a free beverage out that cooler and get the nutrition that they need.
That's really cool, man. And I know something that everybody, like, I can't let you leave without asking. What's up with crawfish season, man? It's time. Like, Donnie, one of my personal, favorite things in life, I've never told you this, but I love during March Madness, Fridays, knock off of work, go give me a 6-pack, a 12-pack of beer, and 10 pounds of crawfish and just sit outside and watch basketball games, just binge on crawfish and beer. I don't do it often, but I do it on Fridays during March Madness. So give me the latest, man. What's going on with crawfish season?
All right, so it's getting better. We're seeing the catch come up from when we started out the year, but it's still at much lower than we were on traditional years. Cost is coming down. Today we're $5.99 a pound live.
Okay,
but we'll see that adjust into March, April. Every day we're looking at the pricing, we're looking at our cost, and we're going as low as we can for our customers because we know so many people are waiting for the crawfish and missing out on the crawfish, and that's kind of part of the reason we came out a few weeks ago with kind of our 1 pound special. So it's 1 pound of crawfish, corn, and potatoes for $9.99. While it's not a whole bunch of crawfish, at least you kind of get that little taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
and
get that little taste, that little appetizer.
That's right. But we'll see it. We'll see it get better. We may not see it, what I'll call normal like we've seen in the years past, but it's going to get much more affordable.
Cool.
The size of the crawfish right now is average, but next year we should be in a better position.
Cool. Donny Rouse, CEO over at Rouse, says, "Hey man, congrats again on the honor. You and your family deserve it. Y'all have been great partners of ours, and we appreciate you greatly. Thanks for a couple of minutes, man."
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
That is our pleasure. Donny Rouse, again, Progressive Grocer, Outstanding Independence for 2024. It is kind of like winning an Oscar for grocery stores. It's freaking phenomenal, and they deserve it. They've been so great to work with, man. They've hosted us a ton, and we've been able to do a lot of shows. Of course, Eagle 98.1 Game Day is home at Rouse. Muse is over there. You hear T-Bob there every Friday. They've been great, man. We're so grateful for our partnership with them and wanted to shine a light on that gigantic award they won. So thanks to Donnie for that. All right, it's after further review. Muse, we got about 90 seconds. Do you have time or no? Do you have a lot?
It's not a lot.
All right, rapid fire. Hit it. Rapid fire.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
If you don't know, we were supposed to do that in the last segment. Phones didn't work out so well, so Muse's crunch. Muse, you got 60 seconds.
Yeah, here we go.
60 seconds of Muse. Go.
Trendon Watford, 14-7. Nas Reed, big night, 22-6 off the bench for Nas. Dylan Cruz with the Nationals today, 1 for 3, follows up a 2 RBI double yesterday with another hit today. Did punch out, unfortunately. And rough day for the Langer, man. 3 earned. No. 3 earned in 1 inning, unfortunately. Did punch out 2, though.
It's like a midweek game them use.
That's
it doesn't
true.
count.
It's spring training. That's Tigers in the pros.
You did it!
Yeah.
You didn't even need a minute.
Yeah.
Muse, you could have stretched it, Muse. Your mic is not on.
I'm trying to get to the top of the hour here. I wanted to make sure we had enough time to get everything in.
I'm trying to get to the top of the hour here.
We are trying to get to the top
collectively,
of the hour.
we all are trying to get to the top of the hour. Okay, it's after further review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. We will talk a little Pels coming up right after Sports Center, and tons of football next hour as well. Also, Pluckers Trivia. Looking forward to it. Hour 3. Next.
AFR.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Former USC quarterback Caleb Williams, in his first public comment since declaring for the NFL draft, told ESPN's Pete Thamel he'll be excited if the Bears select him with the first overall pick. Also said if Chicago trades the pick and he gets drafted by someone else, he'll be just as excited. Bears GM Ryan Poles has said he wants to make a decision as quickly as possible whether he'll trade Justin Fields or draft a QB. ESPN NFL draft expert Mel Kiper Jr.
To me, it's a tough call for Ryan Poles. If you get blown away by an offer, it's going to be tough not to take it. I get that. Will he be blown away? Will he? If he's not, then obviously you sit there and say, I'm taking Caleb Williams, because if it's a push, in my mind, guys, if it's a push, you draft Caleb Williams, you reset the clock, and you trade Justin Fields.
Mel on Unsportsmanlike. The Dolphins and Vikings 1 and 2 overall, respectively, in the second annual report by the NFLPA that ranks teams according to various categories based on the results of player surveys. The Chiefs rank 31st, only ahead of the Commanders. NBA Clippers without forward Paul George tonight against the Lakers because of knee soreness. 10 Eastern, ESPN.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Get the Pluckers trivia, bottom of this hour. Dennis Allen met with reporters today at the NFL Combine. We'll get to that. But, if you want Pels talk, you know where to go. You go straight to ESPN's First Take because there's none but better than Mad Dog, right?
The Pelicans got a lot of players. I mean, they got 2 big offensive players. The kid Murphy can shoot. McCallum didn't even play. Mm-hmm. They can play some defense if they have to.
You like
the Travis Kelce lookalike and Vasalunas. Let's throw him in there, too.
Yep.
He called C.J. McCallum, and he called Jonas the Travis Kelce look like Vasalunas. The only way ESPN talks about the Pels is if they play the Knicks. Let's actually bring on someone who watches the Pels. Jarrett Reed from Pro Pels Talk, part of Boot Crew Media. Good enough to join us for a couple minutes. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
How'd you think that the Travis Kelce looked like Vasalunas played last night?
I mean, if anybody's getting their information from Mad Dog about the Pels, I think we might have already lost you at this point.
Oh, man, look. They gave the Pels a little shine. They deserved it. How would you listen? There's some school of thought that the home loss to the Bulls might have been the worst loss of the year, but you followed it up with one of the most impressive wins of the year. So make sense of that juxtaposition right there: the bad loss, the good win.
Yeah, I mean, there's a window for this team. They're a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. Sometimes they play really well, the other times they don't, and you see it. I just think there's so much potential with this group, and that's the frustrating part from myself and Pels Twitter.
Let's talk a little bit specifically about last night. Let's talk about the night that Trey Murphy had 26 points. He made 6 threes. What was working so well for Trey last night?
To be honest, I thought he wasn't thinking too much, right? It was quick decisions. It was, hey, my shot isn't there. Let me try to get downhill and get to the rim. Or, the guy isn't closing out hard enough. Let me shoot it. It was Trey's one of those guys where the tougher the shot is, the more easy it is for him because he doesn't have to think about it. When he's catching wide open threes and you think he's going to make, because everything's pretty much online. Let's say the last 10 games, like he had been struggling, but everything was online, but the confidence just wasn't there. I think last night he just got his confidence back. And you saw the embrace from Willie Green, like, welcome back, because that's the guy we expect to see on a night-to-night basis. Of course, we're not going to see 6 threes every night. No. But the ability to shoot the ball, which Trey Murphy has at 6'10", it's an anomaly in this league, and we think he's a really good basketball player, and he has a ton of potential here.
How were it was a close game at half. I mean, it was a 1-point game at half. How were they able to pull away in the second half?
I just think somebody said something at halftime and might have got them going. Finally, we see a team get out of the halftime break and was like, all right, we're just going to put our foot on this team's neck. They're on the second night of a back-to-back. They should be the team that's tired. And let's just run it, right? Let's get it going. Let's put Brandon Ingram in the correct spot and allow him to make plays very quickly, right? Let's get Zion. Let's surround him with 2 shooters, right, where the Knicks can't help off, and let's get him downhill, and let's insert Matt Ryan. He hadn't played, right? And his first 2 shots are butter, right? And now that opens everything up for a guy in Zion that's trying to get downhill. Like, we know these things. We just like to see this on a more consistent basis.
Jarrett Reed's with us. He's on Twitter at JarrettReed_REED. Y'all give him a follow. Pro Pels Talk. The guys go live after the game, so make sure you're subscribed up on their YouTube channel. You want immediate post-game reaction, you can get it there. So let's talk about now the Pels are on the second of a back-to-back tonight against the Pacers. The Pels trying to win their 4th straight on the road. Let's kind of handicap this matchup with Indiana, who is the Pacers are a 6.5-point home favorite tonight.
I mean, to be honest, this Pacer team is going to score the ball. They're second in pace, and they're number 1 in points scored in league, right? They're trying to get up and down. I think the biggest thing for the Pelicans is to guard the three-point line, right? If you can run these guys off the three-point line, try to get them to go downhill, but also contest at the rim, it kind of plays in your favor. Let's say the Pacers in their last 5 games, they're 3-2, right? But they've scored over 100 points in every one of those games. So you're not really going to stop them from scoring, but also can you keep up with their output? If Zion plays, if Brandon plays, if CJ plays, you're going to have to outscore this team. Although there were a time, like let's say the Dallas game, the first Dallas game, where the starters didn't play and the Pels were able to beat a Dallas team without them. So there's a recipe for this. Can they execute it twice?
No CJ tonight out with the ankle. Impactful. Who do you think gets the minute, or how do they distribute those minutes tonight?
I see a heavy dose of Jordan Hawkins, a super heavy dose of Jordan Hawkins, a guy that isn't afraid to shoot it. Now, do I expect him to go, make 35 points or shoot a very high percentage? We'll see. But I think having a microwave type guy like Jordan Hawkins and then inserting Matt Ryan and allowing Najee Marshall to play Najee Marshall ball, I think that could get you a win. I wish Jose Alvarado played tonight. I know he's still on a suspension, but this would be a perfect game for him to kind of muck up.
It's a 6:30 game on ESPN. So if you don't have Bally or the opportunity to watch the Gray broadcast last night, everybody can watch this one tonight on ESPN at 6:30. And it's one of those odd things where they'll play at the Pacers, then come home on the first and play at home against the Pacers. Give me just a snapshot the next handful of games into the future and what you see on the schedule with another road trip coming up after that home game against the Pacers.
The thing is, like, the Pelicans have a huge break in between. So I think that's probably the bigger thing than just the games played. You see at times where this team will have a break or in between, and they won't be the same team that you just saw a couple nights ago, or sometimes the breaks are almost too long. But to even that point, when they came back from All-Star break, like you were like, okay, they looked like a team that's ready to hoop. But then the next game you saw, they kind of fell off. So I think that's the most important thing. Can the Pelicans be consistent with themselves, no matter who they play, right? Because that's going to always change. But can the Pelicans be consistent with who they are and what they want to do on a night-in, night-out basis?
It's a team that's got themselves in the playoffs right now. Of course, goal will be in the top 6, like we talked about last time, man. Just avoid the play-in. They're sitting there at the 5 right now, 35-24 overall. see if the Pels can go get an upset win tonight. It would be their 4th consecutive road win if they can get it tonight in Indy. And after the game, make sure you're locked in. Go to YouTube, Pro Pels Talk on YouTube. The guys will be live there as soon as the game goes final. Jarrett, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, man. Be well. He's on Twitter at Jarrett Reed _ REED if you want to give him a follow there on Twitter. Again, Pro Pels Talk. Really good opportunity for New Orleans tonight. See if they can put together back-to-back really solid performances against better teams from the East. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Love telling you about our friends over at South Point Volkswagen because if you're in the market for a new vehicle, put Volkswagen on your list. Everybody wants to drive something that is stylish, affordable, and safe. Check, check, check when it comes to Volkswagen. You need the family SUV, the Atlas is perfect for you. You want something a little more compact? The Cross Sport is a great option. Takes out that third row, little sleeker design. You want a sedan, of course, they've got you covered there as well. It's South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. And did I mention, not only do you get the great German engineering, but it's manufactured right here in the US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. So you're supporting American jobs as well. It's South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, y'all. Been a good show. Glad you're hanging out with us. Muse will get to some Pluckers trivia here at the bottom of this hour. Muse, I haven't looked at the questions yet. Last week, you went 1 and 3 last week. That's right.
1 and 2, right? There's only 3 questions.
1 of 3. Okay, yes, 1 and 2, 1 of 3. Let's see. I haven't even looked at the questions yet today. Oh.
Gonna be a tough one? Sounds like it's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, man. I mean.
Hate to hear that. I really do. I hate to hear that. So hoping to get on a roll.
Yeah, that's not going to happen tonight. No. All right, so we'll do some Pluckers trivia here at the bottom of this hour. Knock out a quick break. Dennis Allen met with reporters today at Indy in the Combine. We'll let you hear some of what DA had to say. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. 2 amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge. The Watermark downtown, of course. The Renaissance in Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet, as we always say. If you're looking to host a meeting or event, either the Watermark or the Renaissance, great options either way. Also, evenings at the Renaissance, heating up. This is your last chance. Remember, if you want to be part of the Noel Distillery tasting, you can join them over at the Renaissance Hotel. It's coming up on Tuesday. That's this coming Tuesday, 6 to 8:30. Get your tickets. You'll enjoy specialty shots and cocktails, mingle with connoisseurs. It's limited. Tickets are free, by the way, but you got to have a ticket because it's limited. So call over there to the Renaissance Hotel, Tallulah inside the Renaissance, and enjoy a Noel Distillery tasting coming up on Tuesday at the Renaissance Hotel.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $17,500 off new 23 1500 Bighorn trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $17,500 off new Ram 1500 trucks. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Dennis Allen was at the Combine, as all the coaches are at the Combine, getting ready to get underway here this week in Indy. And DA was asked and gave an update on several players to get into. But first, what he kind of hopes to get out of the Combine this week?
I think the biggest thing for me is being able to, I've seen some of the tape on these guys, not to the extent that I want to, but I think the biggest thing is kind of being able to put, a face to the film and really get a chance to kind of begin the evaluation process, not from a physical athletic standpoint as much, more so from the type of person that he is. How well does the kid learn? What are the things that are important to him? Where does he see himself in terms of his development? So I still feel like this is an important part of the evaluation process.
Ding, 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 ding. Say it every year. There are two things that matter more than anything about the Combine. 2. Number 1, your medical. We've talked about this over the years, but guys go to the Combine and they will spend hours and hours and hours while every team has the opportunity to have their doctor pull and poke and prod and yank and twerk and all the things to make sure every part of the body checks out. This is a massive investment. This is their opportunity to check under the hood. The team's doctors, not relying on medicals from the college. And it's not to say there's anything wrong, but we want to check for ourselves. That's one. The medical is the most important. And number 2 is the interview. What type of player, what type of person are you drafting? This is the opportunity, the first opportunity really, to start to get to know these players. So, yes, it's more so about those things. It's not about the quarterback's throwing. It's a little about the 40 time for some of these guys, but really only in a way that's either really good or really bad. It's not about the vertical or the cone drill or how many times you bench press 225. Just not. Workouts, the Senior Bowl, actual game film. You can learn a lot about these guys. But, man, you go to the Combine and these teams have spies. They try to dig up everything they can on these players. They try to trick them into answers. When you are playing with millions of dollars of someone else's money, you better be right. And that's what these opportunities are really more about than anything else. So I completely believe DA when he said that. Of greater consequence, I think, right now is updates on some of the players on your roster and what may come of this. Now, I have been pretty staunchly in favor of the Saints drafting an offensive lineman at 14. And my hope is that one of the best players in the draft is there at 14. And actually, if you saw Mel Kiper's mock draft today, this for me is the absolute pie in the sky for me. This isn't for everybody. It's for me. The absolute pie in the sky best case scenario. Kiper, in his latest mock draft, has Olu Fashanu, the offensive tackle from Penn State, falling to the Saints at 14. And you can look at that guy and you say, man, this is an elite level left tackle. As a matter of fact, Kiper has him rated as the second best tackle in the draft behind Joe Alt from Notre Dame. But when you see what happens, is Williams Daniels May going 1, 2, 3, Marvin Harrison going 4, and then J.C. Latham going 5 to the Chargers, which would be a big surprise. He's got Rome Odunze 6 to the Giants, Joe Alt, the other offensive tackle from Notre Dame, going 7, Dallas Turner 8 to Atlanta, Malik Neighbors 9, Brock Bowers 10. You can see what happens. And then he also has J.J. McCarthy coming off the board at 12 to Denver, which I keep saying this. If you have 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks and 3 or 4 receivers come off the board before the Saints pick, somebody who is a top 10 talent in this draft is going to fall to you. My hope is it's an offensive lineman. I would love it if Fashanu from Penn State is sitting there for you at 14. That would be a dream scenario. You draft your franchise left tackle, and you hope to spend this offseason training Trevor Penning to get some value out of him, very likely as an interior player at left guard. And Dennis Allen knows how important this is for Trevor Penning.
Look, here's the good news. The good news is that he's coming in with a clean slate. He's coming in healthy, so he's going to have an opportunity to go through a full off-season program, both from a lifting perspective and from a practice perspective. And I think those are two critical things when you're talking about, still a young guy. I know this is going into his 3rd year, but he missed basically his whole rookie season. And then last year, he missed all the offseason program before, being put in as a starting left tackle. So I think this is going to be an important offseason for him. And I think being able to start on a clean slate with a lot of new eyes on you, I think will be beneficial for him.
Look, it's a miss, right? He's a miss. You drafted him to be your franchise left tackle. He's not going to be that. That's a miss. But it doesn't mean he can't be a player, and even a starting caliber player. Not the best interior lineman in the NFL. But can Trevor Penning be a starting caliber player? We'll see. That's what this offseason's about. On the other side, here's an update on Ryan Ramczyk, who reportedly toured with the idea of retirement this offseason.
Yeah, look, I think Ryan's getting better. He's obviously, he's got a knee that he and we are going to have to manage. But we feel much better about where he's at today than where he was maybe, a month and a half ago.
Ryan Ramczyk's health, I think after Derek Carr's productivity, I think Ryan Ramczyk's health is the biggest storyline on this team. Because when he's right and he's healthy, when he was right and healthy, he was arguably the best right tackle in the NFL. And you look at a position group that is one of the worst in the NFL as a group, right? Ramczyk, and you have now the uncertainty with Trevor Penning. What do you do at left tackle? You have giant questions. You need answers. Well, Eric McCoy at center is an answer. Cesar Ruiz, your right guard, that's an answer. If you have a healthy, dominant Ryan Ramczyk, that's a big answer. You don't need more questions on the offensive line. So Ramczyk played in 12 games. He missed 5 games this last year with the knee. You heard Dennis Allen there say, we feel like we can manage it. Okay. He may never look like the all-pro caliber right tackle again, but can you keep him healthy? Oh, look, every Wednesday this season, when the first injury report came out of the week, there were 2 guys every week had their veteran rest day on Wednesday. Ramczyk, Jimmy Graham. Look, if that's what it takes, spending the whole week just to get him ready to play on Sunday, that's what it takes, for as long as it takes him to do that. And for as long as you can maximize it. But you need answers on the offensive line, not more questions. Ramczyk being good to go would be a huge answer. And look, that was when asked for an update on Ramczyk, Dennis Allen gave a 12-second response. For context, the Trevor Penning answer was 37 seconds. He had a lot to say about Penning. Didn't have a lot to say about Ramczyk. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. One more. He was also asked, Dennis Allen at the Combine, again, with reporters today, was also asked about where things stand with Jameis Winston, who's probably, Michael Thomas isn't a free agent. I guess technically neither is Jameis, but for all intents and purposes, they kind of are. Here was an update on Jameis.
Jameis is still under contract as we sit here right now, and there's a lot of things that happen throughout the off-season program. We'll see how those things play out. But as we sit, and look, I know Jameis has said, I want to go and be a starter, and obviously that's something that he aspires to do, and we'll see how things play out.
So he's set to earn a base of $1.2 million with a cap hit of 4.5 for New Orleans. Again, after he restructured his deal, he signed the 1-year, $4 million deal. They restructured him. Excuse me. So technically, Jameis is under contract for 2020. He's not a free agent. He's under contract for 2024. So what do the Saints do there? It's a pretty significant question as well. While you're committed to Derek Carr, you also have one of the more accomplished backups in the NFL for as long as Jameis is there. What if he's not there? It is a question the Saints are going to have to consider and address. So, Combine going on in Indy this week. We'll continue to follow it. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. Oh, because it's a leap year, tomorrow is the last day of the month. So you have another day to take advantage of those Bridgestone and Firestone offers that I've been telling you about. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. You can go to the website, hit the promotions tab there on the drop down, and you'll see all the offers that are going on right now. You can get up to $180 off a set of 4 new Select Bridgestone tires instantly, plus free installation, which is $110 value, $170 off a set of 4 new Select Firestone tires instantly, plus, obviously, when you use your Shaw Bills credit card, free installation, a $110 value, so it always pays to use your Shaw Bills credit card when you go over to Shaw Bills. Go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com to learn more for complete offer details. It's all there for you at Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, real quick, as far as the mock draft that we were talking about with Kiper, his newest mock draft that's out, I got a minute here. He did have Jaden going number 2 overall to Washington. So Kiper's got Caleb Williams going 1 to the Bears, Jaden going 2 to the Commanders, and I think we're seeing this more and more. It was interesting last week to see a mock draft that had Jaden dropping down to round number 8 in the draft to Atlanta. Hard to imagine that scenario with so many quarterback-needy teams that even if the Commanders decide to go Drake May 2, if the Patriots don't go quarterback at 3, they either trade that pick or the Cardinals trade their pick at 4, you would assume. But in any event, also surprising in this mock draft from Kiper, he had Marvin Harrison Jr. going 4 to the Cardinals, Rome Odunze 6 to the Giants, and then Malik Neighbors 9 to the Bears, which would obviously pair Caleb Williams with his new franchise wide receiver. It's just really hard to imagine Malik falling to 9, but it depends on in what order these teams rate the receivers. If they have Marvin Harrison 1, does a team value Malik or Rome Odunze more? That's really what it's going to come down to. Both are likely going to be top 10 picks. It's just a matter of when the team hands the card to the commissioner, which receiver does that team specifically value? And then, we had last hour, Josh Edwards was here with us from CBS Sports. And I asked him what LSU player is the most to gain, most to lose at the Combine. He said most to gain was Brian Thomas. And I kind of disagree. I think Brian Thomas has the most to lose. And I've explained this before. I think Brian Thomas is a first-rounder. Now, he goes to the Combine, he can solidify his first-round status. But if he doesn't perform well, he could drop out of round 1. I don't think Brian Thomas is moving higher. Like, I don't think he's overtaking Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison. I think he could, however, fall when you talk about guys like Keon Coleman and Jalen Polk and other receivers in this draft who could leapfrog him. So, for what it's worth, Kiper does have Thomas in round 1, 28 to the Buffalo Bills. So barely into round one, but still in round one. But again, needs to go solidify himself as a round one guy at the combine. The guy who I think has the most to gain among the LSU Tigers, I think, is Mason Smith. If Mason Smith goes to the combine, tests exceptionally well, interviews well, passes all of the medical, and can explain to teams, hey, here's why I didn't perform well coming off the knee, whatever the case was, maybe that alleviates a lot of teams' concerns, and he moves up into a high day 2 pick. I think he's got a lot to gain. Because quite honestly, if you're outside of day 2, it really doesn't matter where you're picked. It's more about the opportunity to go try to make a roster, play well, and get to your second contract. So we'll keep posted. Combine going on in Indy right now. All right, it's After Further Review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. We'll break Muse. We'll do some Pluckers trivia when we come back next. We'll get you set for LSU baseball at Rice. Still a lot to do before Otterlocks in about 15 minutes from right now. How about it, man? The angle hit again last night. Fade the court storm. Wake Forest beat Duke, storm the court. They go on the road against Notre Dame last night, lose outright by 5. Fade the court storm. Can I get a ding for the fading the court storm? All right. It's After Further Review. We'll continue. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. We're thrilled to have Donny Rouse with us in the last hour. And they've been such an awesome partner of ours. I mean, we've just, of course, here at Guarantee Media, we're a local business. Rouse's is family-owned and operated. And it was so cool to see this award that they got. Progressive Grocer named them one of the outstanding independent grocers in the entire country. Look, there's a lot of big chains, and we know that. But Rouse's is family-owned. They're still family and locally owned. Run out of, obviously their New Orleans office and their Bayou Region office, which is where they started. And they've now expanded to almost 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. Of course, they got crawfish, and if you're a Catholic in Lent and you're looking for a seafood option on Fridays, they've got great grab-and-go seafood options over at Rouse's. They are the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. They've been an awesome partner of ours. It's Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Brack, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Okay, it's a 7 o'clock first pitch tonight for LSU and Rice over at Reckling Park in Houston. First true road game of the season. First game away from the box for the Tigers, who through 8 games are 7-1 on the season. We have the starting lineup. Here it is. Kling will lead off and play in center. Milam back in the lineup at second base. He'll bat second. Tommy White batting third, playing third. Josh Pearson in the lineup in right field and batting cleanup, followed by Hayden Travinski, who will DH. And Neal will be after Travinski. He'll catch. And then the bottom three, Jarrett Jones in your 7-hole. Guy had 14 homers as a freshman, as a part-time player, as your 7-hole hitter. Jarrett Jones playing first. He'll bat 7. And Mac Bingham in left batting 8th, and Michael Braswell will bat 9th and play short. It will be the freshman Cade Anderson on the bump for LSU tonight, making his second start. I'm excited to see him on the road tonight. Looked good in his debut, and first opportunity to go away from the box, take the ball, someone else's park. Let's see how he does. So Kling, Milam, White, Pearson, Travinski, Neal, Jones, Bingham, Braswell. That's how they're lining up. And we were talking, Muse and I in the break, I asked him, I don't think through 8, now this is the 9th game, I don't think we've seen the same lineup yet. I could probably go back and see the same 8 position players in a game, but not the same 8 position players and then the DH in the same batting order. I think Jay has changed. It's changed every single game as he kind of is mixing and matching and trying to figure out what he has.
No, I'm pretty sure you're right. I haven't gone back and looked at it either, but I mean, I can, off the top of my head, Brown's been out of the lineup, Pearson's been out of the lineup, Kling's been out of the lineup, Milam's been out of the lineup, like Bingham's been out of the lineup. There's enough guys who have missed a game so far where Braswell, I don't think it's mathematically possible that he's used it so far through 8 games. And I'm good with that.
And me too. And he told us this. He said, listen, I'm going to take my lineup, and I'm going to write Jones at first. Yeah. I'm going to write Kling in center. We know White at third. And people keep asking about White. Tommy White is still coming back from the shoulder injury. Like, I don't know that they're openly talking about this a bunch, but that is going to be – you're going to see, as he keeps getting treatment, as it gets better and better, like, he's going to look more and more and more like Tommy White. I mean, the home run the other night looked good.
Good Lord.
I know. But he's going to be fine. Like, of all the things that you might feel like you have to worry about this team, Tommy White ain't one of them. Like, he's going to be fine. I'm more worried about who's going to protect Tommy White in the lineup, and that'll come along. Musso at the box. Make sure you're subscribed up on YouTube and on your favorite podcast app, whichever you prefer. All right, Musso, we're going to venture into new territory tonight for Musso at the box.
Yeah, man. Look, that's what this YouTube thing's all about, is trying out some new things. So we're going to do a little live stream, live reaction episode of Musso at the box after 9 innings tonight. Well, I should say after the game. If they go to extras, we're obviously not going to do it during extras. But so as soon as the game ends, we'll do a little live, maybe not super long, 10, 15 minutes or so, but see how that goes, and that'll serve as our recap for the Rice episode, for the Rice game.
Immediate reaction.
Yeah, man.
I would do that on my personal YouTube channel after the Saints games. Obviously, T-Bob and I do that with whiskey and wine.
For sure.
And then I would do that on my personal YouTube after Saints games, and people like that a lot. 10 minutes, me driving Drew to the mall and just cussing like a sailor, yelling about Derek Carr and whatnot. But so anyway, if you're not subscribed up, Musso at the box on YouTube, go subscribe up. And look for the live immediate reaction after the game tonight from Musso there with LSU. It's so weird too, Muse, because I can call you Musso because we're saying Musso at the box. I can't say Musso at the box.
Yeah, you actually have to pronounce my last name correctly. What a burden.
Hey!
I know.
It's just how you're branded here. And it's not even a me thing. It's a Skip Bertman thing.
It's the only reason we allow it.
It is. Skip calls him Musso whenever you were doing Skip and Cano.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Skip and
Hold
Cano.
the rope.
Is Musso going to call it? Is Matthew Musso going to give me? That's why we do it. Muse.
Yeah.
Homage to the GOAT.
I mean, that's what I said. It's the only reason we allow it.
Were you coming at me with, it's such a burden?
Well, I mean.
Face is a burden. That's what you are. You're a burden.
That hurt a little bit, I'm not going to lie.
You know what's not a burden? Relief windows. They're a pleasure is what they are. They're a gosh darn delight. Relief windows. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone at Relief Windows. Oh, yeah, they do indoor shutters as well. One of the things that Brandon told me years ago, he said, you go look at the Google reviews and you see that Relief Windows, so much of what they are is customer service. But he says, I actually kind of like it when people complain because that gives me an opportunity and us an opportunity to show who we really are. It's easy when people are giving you flowers, but whenever you have someone that's unhappy with something, how do you make them happy? And Brandon Holly and his team will go to the end of the earth, the end of the world, to make that happen. Of course, that's why they'll never take $1 from you until they're done with the work and you're thrilled. That's Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Okay, let's do it, Muse. Little Pluckers Trivia. Hit it.
It's time for Pluckers Trivia. How many will Musso get wrong today? Pluckers Trivia. Every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
All right, Muse, here we go. While Qatar made its World Cup debut in 2022, name one of the two countries that made their debuts at the prior World Cup. By the way, you get a bonus point if you get both of them right.
I'm not going to get either of them. But
I know. That's why I said you weren't getting any right today.
So that would have been, what,
2018.
Doesn't really matter. Who was the team that upset the United States? Was that Ghana? Is Ghana one of them?
I think that was back in 2010. No, it was not Ghana.
Oh, well.
Yeah. We were looking for Iceland
Ooh.
and Panama. Would have been the two. That were looking for. Okay. Muse, before his role on Party Down as Roman De Beers and later Bertram Guilfoyle on the HBO series Silicon Valley, Martin Starr portrayed the role of Bill Haverchuck on what short-lived NBC teen comedy drama?
I don't even know who that is. Short-lived teen NBC comedy drama. NBC television show.
Show ends at 6, Muse.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with at least a guess here. I don't have a guess. I don't remember any show that... a show that comes on NBC. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know.
Freaks and Geeks would be the answer. Sorry, you're 0 for 2. Muse, this is the one I think you could throw up the Hail Mary.
All right.
You got a shot. You know what I mean? You have a shot. This is the half-court shot.
Okay.
Maybe it's three-quarters court.
Those go in. They go in from time to time.
They do.
I've seen them.
This isn't the baseball past the length of the floor.
Okay.
This is the half-court shot.
Okay.
It's a half-court shot. Not a layup, not a free throw, not a three-pointer. It's a half-court shot. Ain't easy.
Run and start on the half?
Sure, sure. Whatever you need. What animal commonly adorns the Abercrombie and Fitch logo?
That's a kangaroo, right? No, wait. Who's the kangaroo? One of them has a kangaroo. Oh man, I don't know.
It's your nickname.
Oh, it's a moose, huh?
It would be a moose.
Yeah.
Yes, you are 0 for 3, and
didn't one of them have a kangaroo?
in your ability to disappoint, you never disappoint.
You're welcome.
It's AFR. Out of the Box next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana with 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer. Full-service bar, sports on TV. It's Pluckers. Hey, look, tonight, LSU baseball at 7 o'clock. If you don't have ESPN Plus, don't worry. Pluckers does. Let me also remind you. LSU baseball is going to be playing at Minute Maid this weekend. 3 games. If you can't access those games at your home, don't worry. Pluckers will have them at both locations. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. It is always a great time to get by Pluckers, but especially in the spring where maybe you're going back and forth. Box, day game, night game, dinner, lunch, box to the PMAC, home game, whatever. Or just need a place to belly up to the bar, eat some wings, watch the Tigers on TV. Great night tonight as well because you got the Pels and the Tigers. Watching both at Pluckers, eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV. It's Pluckers. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with LUBA for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes LUBA a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Auto Locks.
Auto Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable, the often incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott Otter. How are you?
Pretty good. Let's get your pen ready. Let's get these quick because I got a few
All right.
first. First, we got and then we got a chat. And so, start off moneyline parlay, 7 legs. Florida is in game. Florida's in game. They start at 5:30. It's fine.
Okay.
Marquette.
Okay.
This should be in order. Duke. Xavier. Iowa State. Colorado. And the Creighton Blue Jays.
Okay.
All right.
I'll plug it in later and see what it comes back at. But what did you have it at?
126 or plus 126 earlier today.
Okay.
And that was at DraftKings.
Okay.
All right, we're going. All right, who had the best win? One of the best wins of the weekend. How about St. John's with the ice cream man, Coach Patino and his all whites before he started. But so they cashed for us because we were aiding that hangover from Creighton. But now they got to go to Indianapolis, the Hinkle Fieldhouse, to take on Butler. We're gonna take Butler, pick them in that one against St. John's. Looking for that big win hangover that has been just money.
Okay.
And then Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, depending on when you bet it, was a winner or a loser. They were plus 2.5, went off at -1. But we're going to take them at home. Central Florida getting a little road weary in their new travels in the Big 12. So we're going to go with Oklahoma State back at home, the Cowboys, -2.
All right, Oklahoma State laying 2. Okay, so we got Butler, which is a pick'em. We got Oklahoma State -2, and then we have a 7-leg money line parlay with Florida as the otter mentioned, which is in game. Marquette, Duke, Xavier, Iowa State, Colorado, and Creighton. All right. What else? You said we had to talk.
All right. So when we hold the dice for 2 weeks, don't leave the table. Where'd you go? Delmar don't start running until July. Where in the hell did you go to the table?
All right. I mean, I'm with you, but I kind of feel like you going to Delmar, like you're the one who needs to be locked in. I just have to get my fat fingers to punch up an app, right? You're the one who decides you're going to go to Delmar for a month and abandon the heater that we were on 2 summers ago. Now you haven't even gotten it back in baseball. So I'm blaming you for that.
What did DraftKings call you? Said change the stick, man? I mean, come on.
I was at a guarantee executive leadership retreat is where I was, okay?
Musso, you slide the dice very softly to me. Musso was banging them off the wall and everything. Come on, man.
So well, I'll tell you this much, Otter. I went very, I didn't bet the plays on Monday. I didn't get them. And then I went very light yesterday, except for our fade the court storm angle. So I went very heavy on Notre Dame. So I actually had a pretty nice day yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, but you said that over the weekend privately. Said, well, I guess we're going with we're going with Notre Dame next week. It's been unbelievable, Matt. I mean, that angle. So
I keep waiting for more court storms. I hope there's a court storm tonight, so I know who I'm betting on Saturday.
Those poor people. I mean, they killed Mississippi State last night. They brought too many police. They were not going to allow them to court storm. They made the announcement over, and then somebody forgot to guard Shepard. So, I mean, come on, State.
That was a shame because I know State was one of the plays that you had last night against Kentucky. And, I mean, not only were they going to cover, they were going to win the damn game, and then they just gagged down the stretch.
I can't put it. I just think that was one of the highest level games. Me and Charlie, I was like, tell me another game in the SEC this year that was better than that last night. And it was just, on paper, the win at Auburn by Kentucky by double digits is way more impressive. That win last night Mississippi State played at a much higher level than what Auburn did a couple of Saturdays ago. So
all right,
it was just really, really good. So please don't leave. Just let this crap out next time first, okay?
I'm good until in a few weeks. I'm going to New York for Barrett Media Summit, so I'll be gone for 4 days. In a few weeks, just a heads up on it. But if you want me to call in, we can make sure that happens.
I did see the interview. That's very good stuff, and I need to thank you, man, on behalf of me and Charlie for attributing all the station's success to our show. So I appreciate that.
Goodbye. Have a good show tomorrow. Good luck tonight.
Good luck.
See you. It's Jimmy Ott. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. It's FirstSouthLand.com. You want to buy land? Your first call needs to be First South Farm Credit. Of course, our buddy Ben McDonald. You've heard him talk about First South Farm Credit for years, and I'm thrilled to be part of the team now as well. Since 1916, recreational, agriculture, or that tract of land to build your dream home, whatever it is. You want to buy land, your first call needs to be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. All right, that'll do it for us. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Go 7-line Monday Night Parlay.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.